Welcome to the Return to Roots Mil2Vet podcast, your guide through the journey from military to veterans in the community. This podcast is dedicated to service members, veterans, and their families. Get ready for inspirational stories and experiences generously shared by our amazing guests. Stand by for the sound of freedom. Before we dive into today's episode, we want to remind you of two essential resources, the 988 National Hotline for Mental Health Support and the MYTT 365 app available at Mil2Vet.com. Both are valuable tools to assist you in your transition journey. Now let's get to the show.
Return to Roots family, welcome to the show. Without further ado, it is now 5:02 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and you can see some of the tribe members that have joined us today. And we thank you. We thank you very much for being able to make time to share with us our first time going live on all of the platforms and to make time for us, our veterans, our community, who we are, right? So I appreciate every single one of you guys for making that time, and everybody that's joining us live and seeing our show. Thank you, Return to Roots fam, Mil2Vet fam. We appreciate you. We're one community. We're trying to keep ourselves, our sailors, our veterans, Coasties, Air Force, Marines, everyone out there. We're trying to keep us safe. We're trying to take that number down, that magic number that keeps on increasing. We're trying to get rid of that number, right? And how do we do that? We do that by staying connected, by being part of the family. What else do? We help out each other, right? Every time that we struggle, every time that we know someone that hits homelessness and or they get incarcerated or things like that, we reach out. We are one community. We are one family. So without further ado, again, thank you for joining us. We're going to start off by passing the phone around and saying some magic words.
Everybody that came here today, thank you for showing up. Everybody that's watching us, my mom, hi mom. Yeah, so thank you for coming on here and hanging out with us. Please keep in mind while other people are recording, let's mute those mics. Okay, there's 10 of us on stage. Let's have a little bit of mic discipline. I know you guys all know what I'm talking about. They'll make me knife hand you. All right, everybody that's on here, thank you. So go ahead and kick it off.
So,
man, Chris, hit it up, dude. Man, it's your thing, Chris. Man, go ahead and do your intro.
No, Nooch, you already started talking. What does it mean to be a veteran to you?
Oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to devo your mic from you there, Yogi. That's my bad. Nah, this is I'll tell you about 5 or 6 months ago, man. Chris, I heard they were starting up this platform, and he told me what it was about. And I was like, wow, dude, these guys really putting their money where their mouths are, dude. It's going to be here, And he told me it was about like, hey, man, we really got to have something to do where we can help these guys transition, because there's just not really something like this. And it was kind of like, yeah, we should do that. Hey, let's make a podcast. And then y'all did it. And 20, how many episodes are you guys up to now? 30 some episodes or something like that. And God, there's been some great stories, man. And even jumping in and helping you guys out, the occasional hosting and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun just meeting these guys. And I really am. I'm really glad to be part of this with you guys, man. Thanks.
Hey, me, you're next.
What does it mean to be a veteran? I think to me it means helping other vets. That's it. Somebody else can go.
That's an awesome response.
I love that.
I agree with that, Amy, and I'm going to build on that. What does Veterans Day mean to me? Veterans Day means a lot. I mean, it's a day to thank all of us for what we've done for the country, and the service that we have sacrificed, and, family time and time away from our friends and all of that. And I'm glad to just be here with all of y'all, my brothers and sisters in arms. So that's what it means to me.
Awesome. Yeah, like you. I mean, it's all about the the camaraderie and the service to our nation. Thanks to all the people that are, out there right now, especially the ones deployed and the ones who are getting ready to deploy. Um, Being a veteran to me is, having a connection with all the people that are currently serving as well. You can easily think back many times in your career and remember all of the dedication and sacrifice that you put towards your service. And you know what it's like to, hone your skill and train and get ready for those deployments and do what you're trained to do. And, the other thing that it means to me is you never have to worry about, what did you do with your life? You may have not come from the best background, but, spending any kind of time in the service is a good legacy to be remembered by. So that's what it really means to me.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff Swan, and I met Chris a couple weeks ago. Veterans Day to me is I was a active duty 93, 96, and then went back into the reserves in 2004, and then got out in 2015. But did a deployment over to Afghanistan in 2008, 2009, and just coming back and dealing with the VA and dealing with my nightmares and the PTSD and all that stuff. It was really a hard time. Then a couple years after I got back, I got a call from a good friend of mine, and that was over there too. And he told me he had a loaded gun and he was tired of everything, so he was just going to end it all. And ever since then, I've had a great desire to help out individuals that are dealing with suicidal tendencies and PTSD. So I ended up starting up a group at my church called the Rock 22, and it has to do with the 22 veterans that commit suicide, a day, to get that number down to 0. But being a veteran having served, is the greatest thing one could do, serving besides brothers and sisters and, going out there each and every day to do what you love and to protect this country, has been the greatest honor, So I look forward on being part of this group and everything. And, you guys' thoughts and prayers are wonderful, and I'm excited to see where this goes, so thank you.
So apparently we're having some traffic issues. We got people that are trying to log in, but the theater is full. So yes, who needs to go share their thoughts?
Oh, I'll hop off because Mario's coming on.
No, but before you jump off, say your piece. You're not getting away with it.
No. I'm Christine. I'm not a veteran. My passion is to help veterans active duty. All for what you have done and what you're doing now, helping other people. It is my passion and honor to help veterans alongside you guys. So I really appreciate being a part of Mil2Vet, and the Veterans Series loves having Mil2Vet a part of what we're doing. So I'm gonna hop off so you guys can have more veterans. Come on.
I love it. I love it. I love that we had so many people show up that we broke the basic package on StreamYard. So thank you guys. Keep it going.
Hank the Tank, what are your thoughts?
It's my first time here with you guys. I've known
I guess
Chris
I'll go.
Since...
All right.
Oh,
mine's not working, man.
Hey Frank, go ahead, man. Go ahead, Frank. You're going.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I got some bad connections, so I might pop in and out.
Just keep going, man, because everybody, he's in Costa Rica, so he's living a good life.
Yeah, I remember I met Chris. I don't know when I met you, Chris. What, 2008, 2009?
Yo, this was the best man to my. This is my best man, Frank. Frank's my best man, so I just got to spook. This is my brother.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm
That
another
was a
mother.
good time, bro. But Chris invited me on, so I came in to check it out. I retired 2 years ago, and I moved down to Costa Rica, so I don't see any veterans. So this is good that I'm in this group, so I can talk to some old vets. Gets kind of lonely down here. I'm not a lot of gringos, man. But Veterans Day for me is I really appreciated being able to join the Navy. Down here, they don't have a military, so when I try to explain military to the Costa Ricans, they have no idea what I'm talking about. So it's good that I'm in this group, and then it's a good thing that the U.S. has a ability for us to join, right? And then we get adventures, get trained. So I have nothing but appreciation for the service I had, and when people tell me thank you, I don't know, I feel like it was all good for me. So I mean, I don't know. I really like being a veteran, and I just want to help other veterans, as Jeff was saying. And I had a good buddy. He committed suicide. It's been 2 years now, but he called me like 2 days before he did it, and he sounded happy and chipper. I had no idea it was coming. So I don't know how to detect it, but I guess he called everybody. And we even made plans to play golf and all that. And then a couple days later, I found out that he passed on. But not trying to make it sad, but I'm glad I got this connection with Chris and with you guys. I like to talk to veterans. That's all I got.
But to talk a little bit about what you're saying, right? It's not sad. It's not depressing. It's not nothing.
All
It's
right,
a
my name's
reality.
Hank.
It is
It
reality.
absolutely is a reality. That's 100%. You know, I mean, I think every single one of us that's a veteran knows somebody personally that has taken their life, right? I mean, more than one. And like you said, it you know, not trying to bring a downer on the, you know, on the whole thing, but it is a reality.
All right, Hank. This time for real. The floor is yours.
The thing that really gets to me is that when we're I'm going. I'm on. Am I speaking? Am I speaking? Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
All right. So yeah, my name's Hank. I'm a Marine. Veterans Day means to me. I don't know. Red Robin has good food that's free on Saturday. Denny's, I'll get a free breakfast. But other than that, I'm a comedian, actor, writer. So there was a lot of funny stuff that happened in the Marine Corps that I bring out in my stand-up. I think joking about the Navy a lot helps because, I mean, you got to. It's just there. You have to.
Crayons.
About everything. About the 22 to now 40 a day. That's something that drives me crazy because in service, we all freaking ask for help. We're always asking for help. Hey, can you help me? Can you help me? But as soon as we get out, we stop asking. That's what drives me freaking crazy. So one of the things I do, I work with Operation Transition Outside the Wire. It's a coffee company in Williams, Arizona that helps veterans with PTSD to transition back into society. It's a ranch that they have out here. And Tom, I was hoping he would be on here, who actually started it, brings veterans back. Not just the veteran, but their family as well. Because that PTSD or that TBI that hurts that veteran is just not hurting the veteran, it's hurting the family. So they bring the family in, the wife, the kid, whoever they have, they bring them in to help them get through it. It's a 6-month program that they go through. And if they need a service dog, they get one as well. But so yeah, I make fun of the Navy. My dad was a retired Air Force for 20 years, which he was really almost beat the shit out of me when he found out that I joined the Marine Corps because he didn't realize I joined it for the uniform because they're the sharpest uniforms around. So you got to do that. But yeah, so my name's Hank. I met Yogi. We were drunk one day. Was there strippers? There weren't strippers, right? There weren't strippers. There was just me and you just drunk, right? We're just drunk.
What?
Yeah. We were
I don't
just
drink.
drunk.
I only
That was
drink water. What are you talking about?
I don't know. I was going back to my Navy roots, I guess.
about?
Oh yeah, it looks like water, but it's tequila. Oh, you kept telling me it's going to kill you. So yeah, I met Yogi and Chris, I think a year ago. So yeah, and helping out with Mil2Vet roots. Yogi's a little bit of a. We'll talk about that later offline, but that's something different. But yeah, my name's Hank, actor, comedian, writer.
Thank you, Tank.
Yeah. Hey, we got some newcomers on the show, so let's hear what Veterans Day means to you guys.
Catherine, Gerald.
I'm happy to
Floor
kick
is
it off, and I
yours.
love the tequila story because I happen to be Yogi's boss. So I'm Catherine.
Can't even
Gerald.
make that up.
No, he did invite me though. I'm Catherine Gerald. In terms of what Veterans Day means to me, I never personally served, but I always think about my grandfather, who at the age of 25 was drafted just after medical school, did the Normandy D-Day Army landing, and only him and the priest, because of their uniform, survived. So they hid with the French for a week and later hooked up. And he came back suicidal, shrapnel in his back, and offered permanent disability. And Grandma said, "Nope, we're not doing it." So he turned into a cardiologist, was able to become functional. He was always haunted by the ghosts as well. So I think it really, he gave a lot that day, that week, that year. The whole family did. And it's a story of, hope, because he's quite successful, but it stuck with him. So I really think my grandpa there. And then, now that I've got a Chief Navy Petty Officer in my employment too, I'm definitely grateful for that. And coming full tilt, I have a son born on Veterans Day. So it makes me proud of our men and women in service.
Jeez. Are you freaking serious?
Yeah, but a day earlier, it would have been a Marine Corps birthday. That would have been even better.
I'll blame that on Yogi.
Yeah, let's keep it going. We got Mario. Mario, what's up, brother? You're muted. Let's see.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Oh, yeah, you're good now.
It looks like a delay. You got it. Does it sound clear?
Oh, you sound fantastic, man.
Nice. Well, my name is Mario P. Fields. It's my lovely wife, Nicole Fields.
Hello, everyone.
And before we get into what Veteran Day means to us, first of all, thank you guys for your service, and thank you for your support if you didn't serve. I mean, you guys know the deal. It's easy to be a warrior, sailor, whatever, shipmate. But it's that support network. There's that support network, man, that does the behind the scenes sacrifice. And Nicole's a Navy veteran too, so we got a blue-green team. I'm a Marine veteran. Nicole's a Navy veteran. She's my Uber. No,
I am. I'm all y'all's Ubers.
Yeah. So just real quick, we are the Unarmored Talk podcast team. You guys know, if you haven't been following the Unarmored Talk podcast, it's really helped a lot of veterans and non-veterans. It's a human podcast. And like I said, it's in about 840 cities, over 40 countries, territories, on YouTube and audio. And the episode we just dropped Monday, he was a veteran, Green Beret. You guys got to watch it on as a veteran, what he did when he found his 17-year-old son deceased in a car accident, and how post-military, how he was able to, as a veteran, use some of those skills to get through that. So get on there. If you don't follow us on Unarmored Talk, shame on you. And I listen to you guys' podcast too, so this is cool. I appreciate it. What does Veterans Day mean to us? In the preamble of the Constitution of the United States, there's this word called posterity.
Yes.
What can be done for the next generation of humans that don't get a vote? And that's what has driven us to develop Still Serving Incorporated back in 2018, because Nicole and I, as two veterans, believe that once you get out, And even on Veterans Day, where it's a time to reflect, renew your commitment to your neighbors, your friends in the country and the world, it's also time to still serve and self-reflect, look at what you've been doing and see if you can give a little bit more throughout your neighborhoods and throughout the nation. I am a Marine, and I did retire as a sergeant major. So Semper Fi Marines, happy birthday. We just got back from a bar. We're still recovering. I mean, we're and that's what Veterans Day mean to my lovely bride and myself. Thank you guys so much for having us on the show.
Everybody hide your Crayolas. Hide your Crayolas. It's the ultimate hangover drug. At least that's what they are. Okay, yeah. I mean, I got mine right here. I mean, it's a little guy. But yeah, hey, it's amazing to have you guys all on here, and really, really means a lot. I'd be interested to hear, hey, Mario, if your wife doesn't mind, can she also expound?
I'm glad you said that, because she was like, you can do all the talking. I'm like, no, babe, come on, man. I do enough talking. Yes, thank you.
Oh, I got one of those too. I got one of those that does, like, will try to skirt talking to other people. So I understand, man.
What Veterans Day means to me is it's freedom. I mean, thanking those out there who served our country, that actually were in war, us who were in garrison as well, holding it down back here at home. So thank you all. And that's really what I wanted to say about Veterans Day.
I love that you're
I'm not
on
the
here.
talker. Mario really is the talker. I do the background stuff. I do all the video editing and everything like that. So
He's lucky to have you, and I'm really glad that we got your perspective on here too, because a lot of people don't think about the family's transition. They just think about the service member that transitioned out and is now a veteran. But my wife and my kids, they also served. They also had to relocate their lives and be there as my support to keep me out on the field, out in the fight. So go ahead, Mario.
no, I just want to say, no, you're absolutely right. There's sacrifices all the way around, from the active duty member to the spouse to even the children. Everybody sacrifices. So happy Veterans Day to your spouse as well, and all your spouses and family members as well.
All right, so my man Yogi, let's hear it, brother. What does Veterans Day mean to you?
So for me, what is Veterans Day? As a first generation immigrant, it means a lot. It means an opportunity to be able to be a part of this nation. It means a way to pay back for all the kindness and all the opportunities that I have been bestowed upon me. It means to plant my roots in a country that some welcoming, some not so welcoming, but that's life, that's people, that's humanity, right? But in reality, having the possibility to travel the entire world, protecting our nation, fighting for freedom, right? Being able to support each other, having this community, being part of elite community that is less than 0.6%. Some argue that it's 2% of the entire United States that are veterans, right? So what does Veterans Day mean to me? It means that everything that I've fought for the last 21 years, my community, my family, my friends, the United States, that's what that means to me. It means that we are all here to help each other out, to be kind, to be good, and to continue being part of a wonderful idea that back whenever the United States was originally formed, continue fighting for that freedom, for that image, for that constitution, right? It doesn't matter where you came from, doesn't matter where you were born. It matters that you're here, changing the world, making a change, right? And continue going forward. So with that, it's your turn there, Senor Christopher.
Hey, at least you
Wow.
call me Senior
Wow,
Christopher,
Yogi,
not
you got
Senior
my
Elder.
vote, dude. I'm voting for you, bro. I'm voting for you.
Man, I don't know how I could follow up with that, man. I could barely even talk sometimes. So, Yogi, hey, brother, thank you so much for sharing that, man. And I love every single one of you that came on here. Thank you so much for coming on here. So, what does Veterans Day mean to me? I mean, now I have a different perspective this year than I did on it last year, because last year I wasn't technically a veteran because I hadn't taken off the uniform yet. So I have a completely different perspective uh, than last year. That's for sure. It kind of hits a little bit closer to me as I've been in it for the last 90 days, talking about it, creating Mil2Vet to first off share the knowledge that I was learning, and also try to help others because I've lost my identity. Veterans Day is kind of the day where I kind of remember and I reflect back on my service and those that I've also served with before. And losing my identity as a sailor, as a senior chief, as a second class when I was a second class, all the fun things I had, all those opportunities I got to have with sailors and make some actual impact. And part of me was mourning it. So Veterans Day to me is, I'm thinking about it, and Yogi asked me the other day, what are you going to say? I'm like, brother, it's always been the same thing for me. It's about creating generational change, not just within my own family, but around those that surround me. Like anybody that's going to be in my sphere, I'm going to talk about these kind of things because I'm doing that generational change. And the people who served for us, they're a part of that. They created generational change, not just for their family or community, but for our country. They laid down their lives, sacrificed certain things. And I'm not talking about when I say laid down their lives, what I meant to say, see, this is where I get in trouble and I don't talk right. What I meant to say was they put their lives on hold. They pause it. They sacrifice all those things that they want to do because they raised their hand and they said, I will faithfully serve this country. So it's really about that. All those people that sacrifice their time to make lives better, not just for me, not just for my son, my daughter, my wife. It's just making it better. That's what Veterans Day is all about. It's about creating that generational change. So that's what Veterans Day means to me. Again, like, thank God that you guys all got on here on time and we have good internet. So I just want to put that out there. Thank you. So anybody else want to talk about anything else, man? Because there's some phenomenal stories that were shared in here. Like anything else before we get out of here? I think where are we at on time? Oh, we got some time. We got a little bit of time to chit chat.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing really quick. It's what I try to instill with my son. I have a 14-year-old son, and especially like when he sees like a guy wearing like a Vietnam hat or something like that, I want him to go up and say, hey, thanks for your service, because it's not just Veterans Day should we recognize all the individuals that have served. It needs to be every day. They might be going through a hard time dealing with the demons that they're dealing with and everything. They might just need to hear those few little words to say thank you, you know, that might change what they're doing that day, because who knows what they're doing. You know, they could be, you know, at the bottom of the bottom and just say, hey, I'm done with it, you know. But if somebody comes up to them and just says, thanks for your service, I mean, that could mean the world to them, you know. And so, I mean, that's one thing I do. And like I said, my son does too, you know, because they might just need to hear those few little words, you know. So I think every day should be a Veterans Day, you know. That's just me personally, what I think, you know. And we need to stand by all of our brothers and sisters, you know, and even our family members, you know, like you guys are talking about with our wives and children, you know, because they're dealing with it just as much as we are. So once again, I just want to say thanks to Chris for inviting me to this. You know, it's wonderful, and I can't wait to see where this goes.
No, you're absolutely correct. It does kind of lift your spirits when somebody just out of the blue comes up and shakes your hand and says, thank you for your service. Um, you know, I've been out of the military now for 12 years. I'm retired, and it was almost a lifetime ago. But every once in a while, I'll wear my, you know, one of my Navy T-shirts, and somebody will say, hey, you're a vet. And, you know, you get that good feeling. I think one of the things that we can do is just kind of help. You know, I don't want to turn this down the dark road again, but the 40 a day veterans that we lose every day to suicide. I think we can just kind of increase awareness and kind of help everybody look for those warning signs. That, you know, recognizing the signs of people who are going through a depression or maybe even suicide awareness or thinking about suicide. And things that I look for are just the obvious signs of depression, or people who are withdrawn, or people who, you know, if you know them and they're increasing their use of alcohol or drugs, maybe self-medicating with, you know, experimental things like mushrooms, and you know, there's a lot of verbiage out there on stuff like that, how it's supposed to be good for you. Um, People who are mood swings, that's another red flag. Isolation, withdrawn. If you've ever gone through anything tough, sleep patterns change, you don't get a whole lot of sleep. Those are all big warning signs. And then another one that I look for is neglect in personal hygiene. You know, if somebody who's usually a clean cut person always shaves or always puts on their makeup, and all of a sudden they don't, and you see that as a pattern, you know, it kind of begs to, you know, you should kind of perk your ears a little bit and kind of listen, talk to that person, find out what's going on. So those are the things that I would ask people and fellow veterans to kind of look out for. That's a way that we can continue serving.
Testing 1 2. Can I go? You know, again, thank you guys. But about 4 or 5 years ago, I gave a speech in Southern California on Veterans Day, and I had challenged everyone in the audience: don't just thank a veteran for the service; tell them you love them. You know, I love you, or my belief is the most powerful words, one of the most powerful set of raw material called words. I love you. You know, we love you. And it has a different touch from thank you to I love you. And the entire community walked around that day. I'll never forget it. And they didn't just do it that day in Veterans Day. They did it like for a long time. And they would see a veteran, they would say, thank you for everything you've done for us. And we love you. You know, if they were, you know, more than one person. But the interesting thing is I actually just had it happen to me Monday. And I was having a rough day. A lot of people don't think I deal with severe depression. You know, they see me, Mario, you're motivated and, you know, all this good stuff. And a lot of times when you're the happy person, you know, you're okay. You're not depressed because you're senior enlisted, you're clean cut, and you're always positive. We're actually a lot of times the ones who are the worst off. And I was having a horrible day Monday. And I'm going to the Naval Hospital to pick up some medication for my lovely bride while she's in school. And this veteran, he could tell I was a veteran. He stops me. He goes, "Thank you for your service." I mean, I'm 5'2", so I figured he thought maybe I was in the Navy. No, I'm just joking.
Hey now.
Y'all know I had to put that in there. But
Hey, Department of the Navy. I'm just putting that out there.
That's what I
Department
always
of
say.
the Navy.
That's what I always say.
you know,
You
I
were
got.
once the Navy. You still belong to the Navy.
Hey, this is my commanding general and admiral for 29 years, so I love the Navy. But and he stopped me and he goes, "Thank you for your service." And I could tell he was a veteran. I said, "Thank you for yours." He goes, "Hey, brother, I love you." I didn't know him, and he had no idea what state of mind I was in, and it changed my whole morning. And so I share that with you guys. Here I am giving that speech about 4 or 5 years ago in Southern California. And then it's reversed and put on me. And it's powerful. So any listeners and viewers and anyone out there, I just challenge you. Just find a veteran. If you see a veteran, I'll just walk up to them, or if they come past you and say, "Thank you for your service." But throw that suffix in there, throw that extra. And we love you. You know, we love you. Be safe. Take care. We have no idea what that veteran's dealing with, like you guys said. But those are some powerful words. And I yield the floor back to the amazing, distinguished gentleman that's hosting this platform.
Yogi, he's talking about you, man.
I knew I was gonna give him a quick pause, a momentary pause of action and appreciation. And seriously, it's warming to hear all these things, but it's so true. A veteran can pick out another veteran from a mile away. And just like you said, I mean, we all go through dark times. We all go through dark moments, and we are there for one another, and we're here to help each other. I mean, we've had, a couple, if not all of us, have gone through times in our lives when we think, man, is this the moment, right? Is this the time? And then someone reaches out and holds our hands and say, "Hey, man, are you all right?" Or just, "Hey, let's talk," or just we do our typical banter, tell the Marine Corps what they really stand for and other things, or the chair force or the puddle jumpers, the little coasties, all of the above. But we say that out of love, out of respect. And no one can understand that except for someone that's already served. Why? Because as the army would say, right, the little greeny weenie, embrace the suck, or so on and so forth. There's there are different levels of commitment, right? And especially if you do it and you joined um, because you wanted to. And even the ones that joined because they didn't have a choice, they have also, a lot of them, they stayed, right? And what is the biggest thing in the last year? Chris and I have been, we started our transition over the last year and a half. And one of the biggest things that we've found is that through the transition process, unfortunately, because we don't prepare for whatever reason, because there's thousands, right? We go into this fight or flight mode right after the transition time, which is usually three months before we are either getting out, retired, or moving on. And a lot of our veterans, brothers and sisters, they stay in that fight or flight mode for decades, right? Trying to figure out how to live paycheck to paycheck, what's the next job, what's the next thing. And, some of our mentors have shown us the way. He's not here right now, but I would love to talk about Maurice Wilson and his reboot program in the MYTT 365, how much that has changed our lives, especially mine and Chris's, right? Without that, we would have probably been part of that being part of that downward spiral and continue going forward, but fortunately for us, we were able to have these kind of mentors that not everybody gets a chance to. One of the most impactful days, two of them actually. The first one was in the Midway, and there was a veteran that had been there for out of the military for 18 years. And he came and did the reboot workshop, and he was mind blown that he had been stuck in this downward spiral loop for 18 years. The second one, that I'm extremely thankful for it, and there's a lady here that can be witness to that. There was a lot of people that were supposed to be part of the Midway when the Pinnacle Society came about. To be exact, there was supposed to be 210. And out of those 210, only about a handful, approximately 20 to 30 people showed up, unfortunately. And myself, Chris, and Jackie were there with Maurice and a couple other veterans. And it was extremely beautiful to see how many people showed up to support us, just us. And it was sad to see how many veterans lost and missed out on the opportunity to be coached, mentored, get the experience, the knowledge of people that are masters of their industry, right? And I'm thankful. I'm thankful to the Pinnacle Society for coming around. I'm thankful to Catherine Gerald, right? Who, to be totally honest, I thought I had left the worst impression in the world, right? I was like, oh man, I just opened mouth and served foot, walked away. And then it's turned out to be one of the best coaches, mentors, and part of the people in my life. So with that, I mean, I say thank you to every single one of you guys, every single person that has been there for us during our good times, our dark times. And as you mentioned, Mario, you don't know when we struggle. You don't know how much you can change someone's life. You don't know how much we need that hand. So thank you. Thank you for every single one of you that showed up to be part of this call. Thank you for every one of you guys that are in the background, putting the comments on all the other platforms. Thank you for every single one of you guys that support this podcast and our mission. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Yogi.
Yeah, brother. Well said. Well said it. And just imagining back February 15th is when we first aired, because someone had to make it that date. That's a whole entire different story. So I'm just like looking. I'm just looking back right now. It's November. We started in February, and I would never imagine that it would be where it is today. Like, I just can't believe I walked into a 0800 event, met Maurice, and then the ball literally kept rolling. And I was talking to somebody earlier about how dark circumstances, dark phases of your life, those really hard, put you under pressure moments in your life, forge and create beautiful things if you allow yourself to just surrender to your fear of it and start persevering forward. Some clarity of thought came on me when I first came in from Japan to San Diego, had to relocate my family that was only in Japan for a year, and then relocate them back to Washington State. And we're all disassociated because I'm down in San Diego, my family's in Washington State. And it just got really freaking dark. I had to, I put a request in and I'm like, I need to drive for Uber just to be able to live down here. And they got me into the barracks. I taught, and that's the thing, you got to advocate for yourself, Everybody's out there. You have to advocate for yourself and you have to communicate things to people. So I was very fortunate, even though all that stuff happened while I'm dealing with a possible medical board where they're going to decide that I get kicked out. So I'm dealing with all my medical stuff. By the way, that's why I got kicked out of Japan. I was in line to make 9. I'm just saying, I was doing pretty good. I was at the top of my game, and you don't know where you're going to be at or what your situation is going to be when you find yourself in that transition. But that dark moment in life, I gave it up. And I started persevering forward. I started getting help. I got myself with my provider, and I said I need to talk to somebody about my feelings and my angst and how I feel like a weight's over me. I did that, and I took care of my stuff, and I persevered forward. Creating an organization was not on my chart of things to do when I was in San Diego, and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with my family, whether I was going to be away from them for years. I couldn't. I thank God I was at 20 years because I was able to drop my retirement paperwork that got approved the next day because I communicated. You communicate your issues with people. I'm not saying walk around and say, woe is me. That's not what I'm saying. Go talk to your senior enlisted leader inside your command. Go talk to your officers. Talk to the skipper. Their door's open. They need to know what's happening with you, or else they're just going to forget about you. So this is not just for veterans. This is for you that are serving right now, that are about to go through your transition. Learn from these lessons. We have all these people coming on here. And to just know that we're here today because 2 guys got together during their hardest times and said, let's make a difference. You can turn around and be that person in someone else's life. Listen to each other, care for each other, love each other. We're brothers and sisters, even though it's dysfunctional. And we got the retarded ones in the corner like the Marines. Sorry, I said retard. I am sorry.
You cannot say that word.
The Crayola eaters, okay? Let's just say that.
Yogi.
So, honestly, thank you, each and every one of you, for being on here. I truly do love all of you. And you guys are part of our tribe. Please, don't go another day without properly communicating your stuff with the appropriate people. If that's a counselor, then you need to find a counselor. If that's your spouse, that's your spouse. If it's your leadership, it's your leadership. Please communicate your stuff because nobody can read your mind. All right.
So with that, let's come up to closing points in respect for everybody's time. We really do appreciate it. Any last, as Chris would say it, any last save rounds or alibis for anybody here on the call or anybody that's still out there that wants to jump in?
All I got to say is I'm surprised you guys have gotten as far as you got with you, Yogi, as a anchor that's sliding. I don't know. I'm surprised you guys have gotten as far as you've gotten so far. I mean,
it's because he's short. It's because he's short. He's a short anchor, so I could run.
You guys better leave those short people alone. Come
go.
on, man.
All right.
Short people.
That works.
Thank you, Mario. Thank you.
He has two sides of the same coin.
Oh.
All right. So it's not all rainbows and unicorns out there, brothers and sisters. It's your transition. Take charge of it. Mil2Vet out.